Hello, welcome to a beautiful evening in Wicklow, not day. Today it's I'll be going for about 11 o'clock at night. It's a summer's evening. It's the only time in which it can actually be a little bit cool. It's currently about 22 degrees or thereabouts. In terms of the setup I have today, 1/4-inch classified gold pan, my bag with my supplies. I have a 3-gallon bucket and I have a tub. Right, so I've made it down to the water's edge. Hopefully there's enough light here. If needs be, I'll enhance it. So what I've managed to find here is, you can see where, turn the light around, you can see where this blonde sand here, this is kind of similar to where I found gold before, but it was a lot further out. This is the closest thing I've found so far that might match the requirement. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to fill this up, wet classify, fill that up, and we're going to pan it. So I found a new way to speed up the shot rather than having to do freeze frames. So let's go fill this now. So first thing we need to do is we need to fill that bucket with water. Nice full bucket. It was a lot easier than I thought it would be. Next step, let's dig down and see if we can find some black sand. Right, that's almost full. Okay, so we've managed to get about half bucket there. It's all 1/4-inch classified. Sorry, I keep thinking that's the camera. I'm just so used to the camera being on the tripod, I keep putting up, oh look this and look at this, but no, the camera's in my head. Right, so what we're going to do is, got to work this down. It's light sand, so it's easy enough to pan, but it's also very, very small gold if there's gold in here, so you also want to be very careful with it. One of the things I forgot to bring, I have it in the car, what I forgot to bring for the sampling process is I forgot to bring the trail. I tend to forget the trail a lot, you know. I'm going to have to start strapping the trail to my bag in future. Tying it onto my belt. Oh no! You know, I just realised this tub is the same size as the pan. Oh dear. You know, I might just go pan it in the sea. Now that there's a small amount of material there, I can just use one hand, which means I can use the light. So hopefully you can see it. That's the advantage of having waders, especially to see. Right, we'll take this back in to shore where the big light is. You can see things a lot better. Right, let's have a gander. Oh, black sand, that's good. Black sand is the priority. Probably too small for you to see it. I have the micro camera in the car. Yeah, could just about see it there. Oh, actually, yeah, definitely gold in there. Small piece of gold. Nothing like what I got on the last day. More than likely from here. Just to be sure, it's only a micro dot of gold. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to wash this pan out thoroughly, and then I'm going to pan the rest of that bucket. We'll go out to the sea like we did it before. That is a heavy beast. Hopefully it's full of gold. Man. Just gotta rinse it out because I know there's a good bit left in here. Yeah, the tub will definitely serve a different purpose later on when if I do end up setting up the Banjo Pan system. Yeah, that looks pretty much clean. Right, let's go out to the sea. Oh, that's heavy. Nice heavy pan. See where the back of the pan is so we know where we're going. Remember, this pan was thoroughly clean, so whatever gold is in here is specifically from here. And of course the buckets were clean. Then again, if I find gold here, I'll probably doubt myself, clean out the buckets, clean out absolutely everything, then go again. And that's the right attitude to have. You want to be thoroughly sure that you're on the gold before you go and set up the big equipment. Right, that's a small enough amount of material. Let's head back to the big light and have a look, see where we're at. So remember, the pan was thoroughly clean, and we're still on black sand, which is just fantastic. There's a tiny tidbit of gold in here. Let me just bring everything back. If ever you're panning and you've lost the gold, all you do is bring everything to the corner, tap, bump to the side, pan it out with the black sand, wave it back, and you should see it then. Yeah, small, tiny bit of gold. It's gold, it's not a lot though. I think we're going to have to move on. Going to head on further down to reach the next spot. Right, so just to save on time and to save on carrying, having to stop and start, and to avoid injuring my arm again, carrying things wrong. So what I'm going to do is, I'm just leaving the tripod and stuff there. As you can see, there's no one here. Time's 11:30. Not a soul in sight, which is great. I know this sounds strange, but just like being out in the wilderness and just like prospecting for gold in the middle of nowhere, this is how I like it. No one around. Yeah, so this seems like a good concentration here. I can just, as I crouch down, I can see it looks like the wave action. See here, look. The water's been getting up here. It looks like the wave action has been pushing some black sand in. Now, unfortunately, the tide is well and truly in, and it's brought all this cobblestone in on top. You can see where the actual sand and gravel is down there. I hope that's not what I think it is. I've had it happen before where the cops have showed up. I just explain what I'm doing and that everything's above board and legal, and they usually don't mind. But I did have one person show up, said that they got reports about I was illegal dumping, and all I was doing was taking my sucker chew and bucket out of the boot. They saw that flying out of the boot and thought, oh, this chap's dumping rubbish. No, see the way it's all blonde there, right? And even when it's wet, it's not particularly dark. And obviously there's nothing here. Perhaps under all this sand here, or under all this cobble, there might be some gold. Okay, so it looks like I was right. The tide is after washing more rocks in on top of it, but under all this rocks and gravel is sand, which is fantastic. Yeah, sample along here. Might sample out that way, where there is a ramp. Look, water comes in. It only gets up to here and it gets to that pool. So what I'm going to do is I'll sample along here. I know there's gravel under here, which means below that gravel that's there. See the way you have sand here? So below that gravel there, there's going to be sand right the way up to the water's edge. You can see where it's only rushing in there. It's probably refilling there, and it's probably good gold there, but it's very hard to get to. It'll take hours with a rake, and then every now and then the sea will just keep calling the river. The sea will just wash it back in again. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to work this patch of ground. I get the light set up, and I'll test pan, and as soon as I see a substantial amount of gold, when I say substantial, 10, 12 pieces of gold, then I'll go back to the car and I'll get the rest of the stuff. Right, this is turning into an adventure in and of itself. Okay, so what I've gone and done is I've changed out the batteries on the smaller lamp. It's starting to fade. So what I've gone and done now is got everything set up. You can see where that trench, where's the natural trench here. Look, even the last few minutes while I've been getting ready, the water's been rushing in, it's filled in most of it. So what I'm going to do is just get a sample along this area that's available here. Right, we'll just top that up a little bit. There we go. When it's somewhat overflowing. Do my eyes deceive me, or is that black sand? Then I go in with the close-up lamp. That looks nice. Oh, that looks very nice. Oh, don't get too excited until you see it in the pan. That looks very nice. Just take a skip at this one to be sure. It's not just one off. If this is black sand, we're on the money because there's gravel below it and it sits on top. So this gravel acts like a false bedrock. Right, let's get shoveling. Hopefully you see this properly. As I say, I've never really done any filming in low light conditions. From I can see pretty much everything fine. Got me light there. I'm just going to spin it around a bit so it's facing the classifier. It's just handy, as I say, there's a magnet at the bottom of that torch and it sits on top of the tripod perfectly fine. What I'm going to do is I'm going to run that material down first. Should have brought gloves, but however. The old story, the more you carry, the more it weighs. Right, nothing terribly interesting there. Yeah, this is good. Look at the gravel below this sanding material. Back to the pan in a second, or the bucket. Look, got this sandy material. Got this sandy material here. Look, and below the sandy material is the gravel. Now there's a little bit more sand mixed in with that. That means is, I think what it means is that the sea has washed gravel in and parked it up on top of this gravel. So what that means is if there's black sand in here and gold in here, it can't go any further. That acts as a false bedrock. I'm rather hoping that's the case. Let's go down a little bit into the gravel. Up that off to the side for a second. I want to see, is there anything decent in the gravel itself? Yeah, there is. A bit of sand. Not sure. Anyway, I'm just going to continue on the top layer. Look, yeah, it's obvious. Very obvious here. Look, sand here. You can actually see it as layers. See if we can point it out with the shovel. Yeah. So like you can see it as layers. Gravel there, sand there. So I'm just going to take everything that's on the top there. Nothing more. Yeah, so future reference, come here at low tide. I'll often do that when I'm out and about and digging. If I say, oh yeah, I should have brought a 1/2 inch classifier, I should have brought a 1/4 inch classifier, I should have brought more water. I'm just making a mental note to myself about that. And then afterwards when I'm editing, I will review the footage and go, oh yeah, I should bring a 1/4 inch classifier. It's handy enough like that. One of the advantages filming everything. Love this classifier. I probably told you this before. This is just a standard Garrett 1/2 inch classifier, and I got a 1/4 inch mesh. And this stuff is very hard to cut. I used tin snips, couldn't cut it. I used even a Dremel tool, just barely cut it. I ended up using the pliers designed for cutting electrical cables, and that was just about enough to cut it. So it took me hours to get that in. But I'm just so happy with how it worked. There's a few rocks have gotten in there now. You can see a few little rocks have gone through. But this thing works alarmingly well. Very happy with it. Okay, we're in almost half a bucket there. So because this is the last scoop, I'm just going to go over here as it's away from where we've worked already. Ah, that's nice. Mostly sand. One more little bit here. And hopefully this has gold in it. Now hopefully there's a nice little shelf to pan in out here like there was earlier. This is heavy, mainly because it's mostly sand. having to adjust the height at which I pan. Gotta keep both hands in the pan. Not like you do it one-handed. You don't want to run the risk of it getting caught and you going out. So because we've got enough light now since I changed the batteries, I'm going to do the final pan down here as well. The pan down to the good stuff. And do that here. Save us having to go back in. Maybe not. Ah, here, look. Good bit of water in the pan, let's go in. Make life easier. That looks a bit too lightly coloured. I was hoping for a good bit of black sand and some gold. Oh, I think we got gold. Hold on. It's also small. Yep, we got gold. Very top there, look. You can't even make it out. Bring the other lot in. Make life a bit easier for you. Ah, yeah. Yeah, that's obvious. Look, gold right there. On a beach. Happy days. This is very good. Right. I'm going to set up the system. Right. I'll come back to you. And for you, it'll be about 20 seconds or less. For me, only about 20 minutes. I'll get that system set up in a minute. Okay, yeah, that was about half an hour to get set up. This is the setup. Hope you can see this right. What I had to do was I ended up having to set up the tub first, take a hole for that, park that in, bring the banjo to it at the correct angle, and then bring the tub to it. This is so much easier for setup than in the river. If I was in a river, or even if I was trying to build this setup at the bank, I'd have to dig right down to the gravel. It would take me ages to get the bucket set right, have to get it the water level right, build a pad for this. Using just my hands, I haven't even used a shovel. I shoveled it to dig it a little bit, then kneeling down and got it set up. Looks like a grand angle. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to fill this tub of water. Okay, so we have the Gold Magic 4000 set up. I'm shouting because I thought the tide was going out, but it's actually coming in again. I don't know. I don't pretend to understand how tidal shifts work. So what I've gone and done is I've filled one bucket of quarter-inch classifiers just over there, and I have another bucket here with 1/8" on top. I just want to make sure the material that's going down, because when the water material mixes correctly, I want to make sure it's a nice even slurry that goes down. This is a very, very primitive setup. For anyone who's wondering, no, this does not involve a motor. No, it does not involve a pump, battery, gasoline, anything like that. This is the tub for keeping all the cons when we clean out the system later on. And this is how it works. So what I'll do is, I didn't bring a trowel again, so what I've done is I've scooped a little bit of material into that little tub there. What we're going to do is pop that in there. So you can see that's nice and neat in there. And then what I'll do is I'll scoop up some water. I've only ever tried this in the back garden. I haven't tried it in the field. First time to see it working. I hope it works. Look at that. Now it is a 2-inch pipe, so when I put in this 2 litres a half gallon, 1, 2, 3, 4. After 4 seconds it's gone through. Now I don't need to worry about catching my tailings here because I don't have a pump. If I had a pump I'd have to worry about, oh, how am I going to catch my tailings? I have to put into a bucket overflow and a pump off the side, filter, all that jazz. I don't need to worry about that. Every now and then I'll just take a scoop of that material or use this little bucket to scoop up whatever gravel is left in there and run around through. I'm just going to run a bit of water here. I just want to see if the mat's even. That's not too bad. It's a little bit more on that side, but I could spend all day setting it up, although it was a lot easier to set up this now than it was on at the side of a river. Anytime I run this before. I mean, there's no motors. It's just primitive, simple, and away she goes. That's nice. Yeah, you can see a lot more gravel in one side of the Banjo Pan than the other, so we can just shift that over. Yeah, like this. We just pour it in. If you put in too much material, you'll end up with a situation like that, look, where it gets clogged up, or the only stuff that's going through is just gravel, not water. Plus the fact that let's face it, it is a classifier, so it does have to be cleaned out. This may not work out very well actually. Right, I'll try this with just 1/4 inch on its own. The other thing to remember is, because it's the Gold Magic 4000, there's always a concentrated material in here. In fact, I'll generally find about 40% of the gold in here and a little bit of gold down here. Right, it's probably about almost 2 hours that I've been here. We spent so much time prospecting and learning where the gold is, where the gold could be, that we haven't really, we're only now getting set up. This is really thick stuff. Hopefully it's acting like a clay. Right, there's a good bit of material in there. I don't want it getting clogged up, although it is a 2-inch nozzle, so it should be alright. Let's run this through. See, the beauty is, no matter how fast or slow I put that through, or whether I drop it in, it doesn't make much of an impact. Well, it shouldn't, because of the way that valve is. That's a 2-inch wide open. That works fine, yeah. Just don't put too much material in one go. And also, because it's 1/8 inch, we end up with less rocks in here, and it's less often that we have to change out the water. Now I am losing a little bit of water over the side there, as you can see when I'm putting it through, but no big deal. Yeah, they're pretty clean. Yeah. It is the Banjo Pan drain mat. It's going to be hard to see it's any gold in here because it's such fine stuff. Right, let's run this again. Yeah, I'm losing a little bit of water off the side as I pick this up, but no big deal. Just for anyone who's wondering the maths of this, the sucker tube will draw 1/2 gallon of water per draw, which is 2 litres. Now obviously it's got gravel as well, so it's even less water, but if you were just drawing water on its own, it's 2 litres. So this represents the same amount of material, the same amount of water that I would get if I was using the standard sucker tube. Yeah, that's okay. Right, I'm going to crack on with this, and I'll see you when this bucket is empty. Right, so I'm pretty much finished that bucket there. You can see there, look, there's only a tiny bit left in there, and run that on through. Right, camera died there a second ago, so I got to wrap this up quickly. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to put all this stuff into the little tub there. I've been here about 2 hours. It's heading for 1:30 in the morning. Getting tired now. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to concentrate all this down into the little flask there, and we're going to pan out the concentrates. As a concept, it has worked phenomenally well. Put dirt in there, scoop it up with a normal beaker, 2 litre beaker, pour it in the water. Right, let's go pan this. Okay, that's pretty good. So much easier to pan when it's at chest height, as opposed to having to bend right down. Now granted, in a few seconds I'll be bending down after the tight washes in and out. So normally I do this one-handed. Because there's a current, I don't really want the pan to get washed away. Right, there was already one small speck of Rooney gold in there. So what we're going to do now is we go back to the lamp and have a look here. Again, there was already one small bit in there, so hopefully there's another piece in it. Oh! Oh! Oh, glory hole! Oh, I better not say it too loud, too many people come running down. Oh! Oh, bleep yeah! Oh, hello! Oh, wow. Oh, there's gold in there. Oh, there's gold in there all right. Look at that. That's a bigger piece. Hope they can make that out in the camera. Let's see if I can get it in the center. I'm filming a 1080p, so what I'll do is I'll get the camera in the center of the shot, and afterwards I'll zoom in and highlight it. Holy bleep, 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 bleep. That's better than a river pan. I've got about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, I've lost track. At least 6 decent sized pieces. The more smaller pieces there's as well. Oh, that's a pan and a half.